guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super stoked to be back with my update for my Pando's Eyeshadows Project Pan. If you don't know, this Project Pan was created by Alexi. I will link her channel down below, but it's basically a Project Pan where you randomize or where you have different eyeshadows to work on from your collection. And people are doing this very differently. Each person has their own kind of way to do this. I have this year decided to have 6 shades in this project, and yeah, 5 will be generated randomly and 1 will be handpicked by me. So before we jump into my update, if you're new here, hello, my name is Helena, and on this channel I love to do project panning. I love to use the makeup that I already own. So if you like project panning content, this is definitely a place for you to stick around. I also do love to test new makeup, so you know, you get both worlds here. And yeah, let's jump into this a bit delayed update. So I have my 6 palettes in front of me. This update is delayed because I went to Italy for work for a week, and then I started my new job, and then I got sick. So I've been yeah, not filming and editing, so it's I'm a bit behind on everything, but I hope it's okay. So I have a very good progress. So if it sounds unreasonable, the progress that I made, it's because I did film the first update or the intro a bit ahead of time, and then this is delayed. So it's like 1 month, 1.5 months maybe of progress on all of these shades. So let's start off with the first shade that I have. It's my it's from my, where are you? Unearthly Cosmetics Fall Magic palette. I generated the shade Magic, which is like a purple taupe duochrome shade. I will put a picture up here. Oh, maybe I should do what I usually do and put it on my hand. So this is what Magic looks like, and I have used this. Oh yeah, I should say my rule is to use the shades either to hit pan or to use them 20 times. If it's not a pressed glitter or a black shade, then the rules are a bit different, but I will get to that if that happens. But yeah, so I had used Magic a bit before rolling it in here, not super much, and I have now used it 12 times. And this is what we are looking like. So last year I worked on Unchanged there, but this is Magic, so you can see that I do have a juicy goosey pan there. It's a nice shade. It's not my favorite. I think that Change is definitely my favorite. All these 3 here I like more than I like Magic, but I mean, it's still a nice duochrome shade. It goes from, as I said, like purple to green taupe kind of shade. So yeah, this is gonna roll out, and then I drew the card. Sorry, I just did my other update for my deco panning. Then I generated the number 96, which comes from my Be Perfect Dream Big palette. It's a humongous palette. And the shade that I drew was Sneak Peek. This also had a bit of use before rolling it in. It's like a nice, let's see, like a peachy shade. This is what Sneak Peek looks like. It looks so much less vibrant in the viewfinder than it is in real life. And I have used Sneak Peek 17 times, and this is what that shade is looking like. So there you can see I was able to hit pan on Sneak Peek as well. It's a quite powdery, like all the shades in this palette are quite powdery, so it's not super difficult. And this worked really well as transition shade. I also use it to like drape and have it like a blush some days, so it's a bit versatile in that manner. Okay, then I have the shade, it's like a, I don't know what this symbol is, but I generated the number from my Dito Hera palette, and it's the 12th shade in that palette, which is like a cobalt blue. That is what that one is looking like. This one I had maybe used once, so not that much, and it has now, I have now used it 14 times, and this is what that shade is looking like. So, as you will see, I do also have a pan in this one. The pan is pretty deep, but this blue is not the best blue, so I really had to dig in to get any, if I wanted to have like a nice blue pigment. I had to really dig in there, so that is why I was able to hit pan. Yeah, it's not my favorite blue. I think this blue is performs a lot better than this one. But yeah, I'm happy to have hit pan and to be able to play around with this, because it was severely neglected last year. Then I had the 2604, which is a very new palette. It comes from my Unearthly Vitality palette. Love this palette. I pulled the shade Vibrancy. And Vibrancy I had used some, but I mean the palette itself is very, very new in my collection. And it's this vibrant green color down there. It's like a pastel green, which is super, super pretty. I have used Vibrancy 18 times as of now. And this is what that is looking like. So you can clearly see a good dip, but I don't have pan yet. I think, I don't know if I'm gonna go for, since this is a new palette anyways, I don't know if it's super important to hit pan. I don't know if I will continue until I have pan. I might. Haven't decided, but yeah. So Vibrancy is still going to be part of this project. Then, second to last shade comes from my EYESHADOWS Queen Bee palette. I enrolled the shade Wings, which is a very, very pale, iridescent, like peach white shade. I don't even know if you're going to be kicking my camera stand, if you will be able to see that down there. It has a slight shift to like peach, gold, and yeah, it's this palette, and I've used Wings 17 times. This is very, very firmly pressed, but as you can hopefully see there, I did hit pan, but as I said, it's very firmly pressed. You don't have any kick up, and it's almost it almost created hard pan, which was why I kind of had to stab it to get the pigment that I wanted. But yeah, these shades they have no kick up whatsoever, basically, and it's a good neutral palette, I actually think. But yeah, I was able to pan on that one. And then finally I have a palette. I did handpick my Glam Shop Remix palette, and I picked the shade Kakko from this. I need to be very careful because I just updated my deco panning, and one of the shades in this palette fell out. And Kakko I had used some, let me swatch it. So the shades in here, this one is very, very dusty. So as you can see, Kakko is that one. It's like a gold. I hope you will be able to see it. With a lot of sparkle. And I used Kakko 10 times. And this is the shade that fell out, but yeah. Can you see that shiny pan in there? I hope you can. I'm too scared, I can't show it. Yeah, but I was able to hit pan on Kakko as well. Which means that of all of these 6 shades, the only one remaining will be the green shade Vibrancy. So, super excited to generate my new shades. So, let me bring up the pretty random app and let's see. So, I do have 3005 eligible eyeshadows. It's insane, but it is what it is. So, let's start off generating 194. 194 comes from my Colorpop The Child palette. It's the shade Float Your Crib. Alright. 965. 965 comes from my Call Me Maybe Take Me to Los Angeles palette, and it's the shade Suit and Tie. Then we have 2439. That will be a pretty new one. 2439 comes from my Sensorium Scalpel palette. 1148. And 1148 is my Nomad Cosmetics Venice palette in the shade Venice. Don't know what that one looks like. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and then... So, I'm not generating anything else, I'm gonna handpick my own shade and I will be right back. Hey, I have my palettes, and let's just jump into it. So this is the Vibrancy shade. So the first shade that I generated was from my Mandalorian The Child palette, Colorpop I mean. And this is what that palette looks like. So it's a good, I think, palette for the season. We are moving, it's still, I mean, February, so... But spring will be here eventually. And I generated the shade Float Your Crib, which is this one down here. So it's this, like, darker green. Actually very good with the Vibrancy shade, I think. So this is what that shade is looking like. I think it will be really good to work with the lighter green shade. Not mad about that. Then I had the Call Me Maybe Take Me to Los Angeles. So this is like, I don't know what's happening with this brand, but they have like a travel series with a lot of different locations. So this is the Los Angeles one, and that palette looks like this. I have not looked at the shades. So I had the shade Suit and Tie. Of course, it's this dark one down there. But I mean, we are able to deepen up looks with this one, so it's a-okay. That is what that one is looking like. Felt like that green did kind of disappear in between. Alright. Then the Sensorium palette. So I have a video on this, I will link it down below if I remember to. It's like a brand, I think it's part of Be Perfect, but it's like a famous drag queen, I think, that is behind this brand. So the Chapter 1 palette is very big, and I had the shade Scalpel, which I do not know what it looks like, but this is what it's... So it's, you know, switching out the Be Perfect one to this one. Scalpel, of course. Scalpel is this shimmer grey shade up there. So they call these shades transformative shimmers because they are, I think, like toppers. So the base isn't that strong, so you can put it on top of other, but that one is Scalpel down there. Don't know what I think about that. And then we have my Nomad Venice Simple and Express. And I have the shade Venice. And Venice is the shade in the middle there. I did have this one in a project last year, and I hit pan in London, but Venice is this duochrome, like a red to green or gold. It's kind of similar to Kakko, but it's a bit more green, I think. So that is what that shade is looking like. So with these colors I now have a shade to pick on my own, and I did pull out my Glam Shop Celadine palette. This is a release I think 1 or 2 years ago during spring. So they released one green and one red palette, and this is what that one is looking like. So it's very fresh and appropriate for the season. And what shade do I want to add to this mix? I feel like the easiest route would be to go with a Samita, maybe. Or should I not do the easy route and do Annika? I think I'm going to challenge myself ever so slightly, not very much, but ever so slightly, and pick a matte. So I'm gonna pick this shade called Arnica, and that will work beautifully as transition shade for a lot of different looks. Can we even see it there? Yeah. So this is my color story. I think it's surprisingly cohesive. Actually, I'm not mad at it. It's very appropriate for like spring, I think. So yeah, let me know what do you think about this color story. Are you doing this project, and what kind of colors do you have to work with? Yeah, I'm super excited to continue on this update, or this project I mean. And yeah, say hi in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!